Hello and welcome to Idle Stand Nation.
What's
this is your
up?
host, Aura and Nick. Jihoon's not here today. Unfortunately, he was sick. But we will definitely hope to see him next week.
Yep.
But for this week, we have actually quite a few songs that I'm really excited to talk about. I think Aura's the same.
They were really good. Like, we've got comebacks, debuts, triangles.
Yeah. We have a lot of triangles for you this week, and you'll understand when we get to that. But let's start it off this week with Chungha, with her song, which is
Bicycle, for her album Quinceañera.
So, definitely really excited about this song.
Right?
There were a lot of things that I actually didn't expect.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so, I mean, we've known Chungha can go with this very Latin feel. She's done it a lot, you know. And so, that's what I was kind of expecting. Mm-hmm. But here, I wouldn't say it was quite innately Latin. There was definitely Latin influence.
Yeah, there was influence. You could definitely hear it with some of the instrumentation. I don't know.
Instrumentation, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I definitely agree. But I wouldn't say it was, like, extremely Latin, you know? Also, there was a lot of English in the song as well. Especially when she started, rapping, right? That was something that took me by surprise. I remember when I was watching it, I was like, rapper Chungha? Like,
yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, it definitely takes, like, a change, because we usually hear her as a vocalist. Yeah. So,
and it wasn't just a small rap either. It was like a full-fledged rap. Like, a full 16. And I was really surprised about that because, like... I was really surprised about that because I think one part of the thing... Like, if I think about Chungha, the first thing I think about is vocals, right? Of really strong vocal ability. And so, the fact that, like, she was rapping really took me off guard, but also... like, the kind of vibe of the song, was really interesting as well.
Yeah, because usually, granted, this still kind of conveys, like, Chungha, like, what's that vibe?
It's still like Chungha vibes, right?
Yeah, Chungha, like, confident, like, vibes, but this is more of a harder, like, girl crush, bad girl kind of vibes. Not like...
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It's just other confident vibes that she usually portrays, you know?
I agree.
Because, I mean, she's an amazing dancer. And, like, for me, like, I still see Chungha as more of a dancer than a vocalist, but... you know, either way, like, seeing her rap is just great, you know.
And speaking of dancing, we got a full-fledged dance break in the song,
right?
And she popped off.
Both her and her dances popped off. What are you talking?
Honestly, like, I think, like, the dancers did an amazing, like, the backup dancers did an amazing job,
right? And
I think there's definitely having good backup dancers will enhance the dancing ability of the artist, you know?
And, you know, when it comes to powerful dances, you know that they have to add the water scene.
Of course. I mean, it's dancing and power. The water scene is a must.
Yeah.
But, man, so, speaking of, like, the water scene, are there any other, like, music video things that you saw that really interested you?
I mean, the choice of costume, and then, like, kind of using fake rain, basically. I mean, you can definitely tell it's fake rain. They're not going to film her, like, in the rain, and it's not going to rain indoors. But, you know, that's a very stereotypical words just don't want to follow me. You know, it's very much used to, like, portray intensity and help with scenes, especially when they're going to use water as part of the scenery. And then it's a very, very, like, dark music video, so it just makes everything so much sharper, and just so much more intense. It was just really amazingly done. But yeah, no, the lighting, all of that was just really well done.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I think this was a really high production video.
I mean, can we expect anything less? As Chungha.
True, it is Chungha after all. I mean, we've seen other like really high budget stuff from, like, you know, when she did Snapping and other stuff like that. But man, this definitely took me off guard. I really, really enjoyed this song. You know, it didn't seem like typical Chungha. You know, it didn't seem like something I've already grown to expect from her.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace.
I definitely agree.
And then, like, I was extreme. I think when I first listened to it, it was like 2 a.m. So I was extremely tired. Like, so I missed so much. Like, some of the lyrics, I was like, about writing, I was like, wait, what? Oh, well, whatever. And then when I actually heard it again, I was like, wait, she actually said that. Wow. Like, because it like, taken out of context with the writing, some of the like lyrics with the writing can be taken the wrong way. So no, I thought it was, but overall it was a really good music video. And the song's really catchy too. But you also mentioned something about like a regular 16 or something like that, or typical.
Yeah, so when in rapping, you can rap in 8s or 16s, and those are called 16 bars or 8 bars. And typically, like, I think she actually had an 8, but anyway, I would have to go back and listen to it. But so when you're rapping, you rap in 8 measures or 16 measures to make it like a full verse, if you will.
Okay.
So like in a lot of idol stuff, we'll see, like, in idol stuff, you see a lot of 4s. You'll rap in like in like half a verse, and then they'll go into singing for the other half.
Okay.
But 8 is generally considered like a full verse. 16 is like almost, if you will, like an extended verse.
Okay.
But like she what I mean by that is, like, she had an actual full verse of rap, and which is like really impressive, because like I talked about before, we even on PD 101, right?
You were about to say 48.
We were talking about PD 48 before this, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you know, on PD 101, right? She was known as a singer and dancer, primarily a dancer, but also a strong vocalist. In IOI, it was the same. And so I didn't have an expectation of her rapping.
Right.
But man, if it's that good and she wasn't showing it before, like, I'm very confused. Because like, I needed that earlier in my life.
Right? Like, because, you know, it's not like, because recently we've also been hearing a lot of deeper voiced rappers as well in the female like K-pop scene, even in males as well. A lot of groups have gone to this really deep voiced, like, rappers, you know. I know there's at least one deep voiced rapper in a tease. I don't know their names, sorry. But like Felix from Stray Kids, right? You know, and I mean, especially as well in girl groups, we've started to see that now as well. Ryujin from ITZY, you know, so we've started to see that kind of shift towards the low voice, right? And I'm not saying
like,
Chungha's like super deep, but it's
it's
definitely feels like it's on the lower range, not the higher range.
She's definitely in her talking voice, which for every singer is naturally lower than their singing voice. And we hear that a little bit after her rap verse, when she says something like kind of in that talking voice. It's the same pitch.
Okay.
So she's very much talking instead of singing, which again for us is abnormal, you know. But yeah, I actually really like that, like seeing a bit of her lower register.
Yeah,
but I also think the song is a little bit lower than her normal songs. There's not as much focus on the higher register, which I also like, because like a lot of Chungha songs were focused on the higher register.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit slower than her other songs as well. I mean, I could definitely be wrong.
I think it's slower than Snapping. I don't know BPMs like off the top of my head, but I think it's slower than like Snapping or some of her other songs.
Yeah,
but definitely a really great song.
Definitely one of our favorites of this week.
100%.
Do you have anything else to say? Because I feel like we're just gonna keep on repeating how great this song is if we don't move on.
I don't have anything else to say.
All right. I guess let's go ahead and move on to our next one. Does this need any introduction, really? Because
honestly, I don't think so. But I wasn't actually expecting this week. This kind of flew under my radar up until the last minute here.
Right. So this artist is another Produce member from season 2 of Produce 101, Kang Daniel with Paranoia. And I was not expecting this to honestly come out.
No, I wasn't either. But this is a banger.
It is.
He just dropped some fire on us, and it's not really even a hype song. It's more of a vibe,
Right, and I think that's because it plays more into the creepy aspect or the fear aspect.
I would definitely agree. It's definitely in kind of that creepy kind of vibe. I also like the little bit of like rock influence that's in here.
Yeah.
Especially in the pre-chorus where they kind of use that electric guitar, with a weird synthesizer on it. It adds a little bit of rock influence, and I really like that as well, because rock can sound very creepy given like depending on how it's done.
Yeah. I'm trying to that like synth guitar. I'm trying to remember I've heard it in American like rock groups before, and I always loved when they did that. It just brought so much intensity. And
also, I don't know how much you know about the lyrics, but I definitely think the lyrics he is also relating to a lot. Talking about, paranoia, don't look behind you. You want, like, where he says, I want to hide. Where he talks about no one, he doesn't want anyone to find him.
Right.
I definitely think like he definitely could relate. I definitely think a lot of idols can relate to that. Because you have to deal with sasaengs, right?
Right.
You have to deal with people that always want your attention.
Paparazzi.
Paparazzi, fans. Like, even fans can even get tiring at some points. Like, definitely having that, like, like everywhere you go, people be like, oh, is that, like in this case, is that Kang Daniel, or is that Kang Daniel? Like, I want a picture. Can I have a picture? Like,
right.
That can get tedious, especially when you just want to do a simple thing like going to the grocery store or the convenience store or something like that.
Well, not only that, but you also gotta be careful of what you post on social media, what you say, like, because one misstep and it's your career's over.
Yep, especially with iNets or like iNets and KNets, right? KNets being so critical of you at all times, and iNets as well can be critical at times as well. It's rough. You have paranoia about everything you do.
Right.
And you also think that you're never not being watched,
Right. it's that fear, and it's you hear it in his vocals, like, and kind of the lyrics with kind of like how they kind of synthesize especially the parts where it goes la 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 la. I'm trying to remember that one movie where it has that kind of like little girl going la 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 la.
Oh yeah. I know what movie you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it.
Neither do I. But if anybody knows what I'm talking about, like, this is going to like bug me. Tell us what the movie is.
Please, yeah.
This is gonna
100%. But man, I think this was definitely, coming from his inner emotions.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and I really like when artists talk about their inner emotions like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we've talked about before, idols didn't normally have a safe space, right?
Mm-hmm.
They mental health and idols only recently became like an actual thing that was accepted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Kang Daniel took a long time off to deal with his mental health and whatever,
Yeah. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if like these were his like inner emotions,
Yeah, like these could have been what he was going through during some of the thoughts that he was consistently going through during his mental health hiatus,
Yeah, 100%. So, I definitely also really like the song. I like the vibe and what the lyrics are conveying as well, and I think they match really well.
Right.
As far as the music video, I mean, the music video was also somewhat innately creepy.
Oh yeah, it represents like all the things is like almost like a disjointed kind of creep, like the personification of all the fears, like how people are consistently staring at him, how the dancers could represent like fans, leadership, management, just kind of like surrounding him consistently and kind of judging him, and basically how parts of the world around him is kind of almost breaking down. I mean, like, was there any like parts of the music video that stood out to you?
I think the part of the music video that stood out to me the most was when he was laying in that bed, and there was that shadow that was looking over him.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like that could have been like the media, or that could have been like the burden that he has to carry from like the company, being an idol. That could also be Sasang's.
I mean, it could be like the personification of everything, like, because usually a bed would represent people's safe spaces. Kids go to their beds, hide under the blankets because they think the monsters won't get them. But for him, that safe space is being invaded by all his fears, and that could be the personification of that. And
another thing that definitely stood out to me was when at the very end of the video, when I don't know if it's on his shoulder or his wrist or whatever, but he has failure written on him. And then there's just blood all over, like almost like failure's crossed out in blood.
Yeah,
man, like this. I feel like this MV was so deep.
There's so many layers. We could probably, if we spent maybe an extra like hour just watching and rewatching it, I'm pretty sure we could find so much more that we may have missed from our first or second watches. Because there's a lot to just break apart from this MV. Yeah,
100%. I definitely think that they did a really, really good job with this MV. I think that putting so many layers in an MV like this takes a lot of skill and a lot of forethought. And if it's not executed right, it'll just be a mess.
Right. like the filming team did an amazing job. The mixing team did an amazing job, just working to make everything so coherent in this music video.
100%. Yep.
So
all right,
they did an amazing job.
Else?
No. Do you want to introduce the next one then?
Sure, I'm super excited too.
All right.
The next one we have for this week is GOT7 with their song Encore. And if you remember, GOT7 is kind of split up into different labels now, no longer under JYP. I don't know what, I'm not going to really comment on what deal they come across because I don't really know, but whatever the case, they're maintaining the GOT7 name. So they will still be referred to as GOT7. And this is their song Encore, and I think this is definitely like a fan song or like a in some sense, you know.
This is also their first like
be good.
This is their first MV after they left the company as well. So you know, and I don't know if you noticed, but they also started their own new channel. Like this is
I saw that.
So yeah, this song's so beautiful. Like, it's definitely feels like a thank you letter to their fans, or
a little bit. Yeah, I was just thinking like this sounds like a thank you to their fans, you know. But it's also like almost like a thank you to the members, you know, for staying together and you know, stuff. Definitely a really nice, like, wholesome song, you know. You know, and like their lyrics even like sing, we'll sing this encore for you,
right?
You know, and saying like we'll sing for you for the rest of the days that we're like, obviously that they're together. You know, all of that is very wholesome and nice. And I'm like kind of like a GOT7 soft stan. I wouldn't say I'm like a hard stan. But even that, like, you know, it felt really nice hearing that myself. So I can only imagine what like the like hard stands or alts are feeling right now.
Yeah,
Onion Ninja.
Yeah, the onion ninja just came in and was like chop 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 chop. Here.
Yep. Exactly. 100%.
Like, I mean, like, cause this music video, the music video itself, like, cause you notice how it was in black and white in the beginning, and it wasn't until Jackson rejoined them that it went to
full color.
Yeah. So and that's such a nice symbolism to show, like, without one, they're not complete. The world is not complete, and that's just such a beautiful message. Not only that, but that message in between, like, the music video to like talk to the fans, to give a message to the fans. I think it definitely helps.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely kind of makes it a lot more wholesome, you know. But also, I think like them just fooling around and being goofballs in you know, primarily Jackson.
Yeah.
Because he is a living goofball. But you know, just them fooling around being goofballs and whatever, just like having fun, I think is definitely a big part of that symbolism as well. That, like, you know, they can have fun, they can do whatever in it now. Like we saw them eating junk food.
Right.
Like that is not something that usually JYP would allow, or like even not even JYP, other companies, like most companies
definitely make you watch your diet.
An idol, as an idol, keeping your figure is extremely important. Especially with how K-Nuts have attacked idols that have grown or that have gained weight before, right? But like here they're basically saying like, hey, we're not idols anymore, we're just a group. You know, and I think that's really impactful in itself. And I mean, like, we saw them goofing around, and like they they showed us the COVID test and stuff, and whatever else. So
yeah, I mean, at least they're getting together safely, making sure like everyone in the group is safe, you know.
And I think that part was also definitely a big part of the message as well. Like, hey, we're still safe. We're still like, we're not just doing this, you know, and risking people, you know. But man, this song is so wholesome and so lovely, like in itself.
Yeah, like even if you're not an Agase, I think this is worth a watch. It's so beautiful, and it also helps reassure the fans. Like,
and it tells a story. It tells a story of what they went through, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say their time in JYP was the worst it could have been. You know, I think JYP definitely did provide them with a lot of good things. But
at the same time, it also kind of provided them also a lot of bad things.
Yeah. And I mean, everything is a trade-off.
Yeah.
Be it good or bad. But more importantly, is this that it tells them that even though that chapter of their life is closed, right, the chapter of GOT7 is not. And I think that is super important to the story of GOT7 and will be important to the story of GOT7 in the future. The only thing I wonder is, or the only thing I'd really love to see is if they close all their concerts with this song.
Ooh, that would be really good.
That would be this song is an amazing concert closer. It's kind of, you know, melancholic. It's very uplifting, upbeat. And I don't think there's a better way to close a concert than something that's kind of slow and upbeat. You know, after you've played all the hype stuff, you know, hard carry and whatever else, you know, closing out with this song would be really nice.
Like, honestly, this song does leave me speechless.
Truthfully, it does. I think for a lot of people, it really does. This song is amazing, and I mean, I think also the low budget filming helps a lot with that as well.
It creates a connectivity that, you know, a down to earth kind of feel, you know, and I'm actually really looking forward to where GOT7 goes from here.
Yeah,
because we know that like the members are either at new companies, they've opened their own YouTube channels. Which, you know, if you haven't subscribed to any of their YouTubes, go do it. Subscribe to their new YouTube channel for GOT7, because, you know, get to watch their adventures.
Yeah, man, I don't think there's any more that we could say about this.
No,
you know, to reinforce it, you have to go watch it.
Yeah,
like Onion Ninja will be in your room.
All right, shall we move it on?
Sure.
All right,
I am super excited for this group, and I'm sure you are too.
Yep. So this definitely involves the triangles. So many triangles.
Well, and this is what we were talking about at the beginning. If you heard us in the beginning, there's a lot of triangles in this episode, and this is what we mean. So this is Tri-B with their debut Dum Dum Ta, and if you don't know anything about Tri-B, this group is produced by Shinsadong Tiger and who else was in it? Universal Music Group.
Right.
There's like a ton of people that are.
It's a hugely supported group.
Yeah, there are actually a bunch of people that are working on this group. As well. Ellie is one. Ellie was helping the rap line. I remember this. We talked about this a few weeks back.
Right.
But this is all. I'm pretty sure this is also in collaboration with the Universal Music Group, and I know this group is produced by Shinsadong Tiger, as he's making most of their music. But yep. So this is Dum Dum Ta, and very, very Latin,
to say the least.
Yeah, super Latin, and so. But one thing that I was talking about with with Aura before we started filming is I feel like Gen 4 debuts hit different. Like, I feel like they're so polished.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like we were talking about with Gen 2, Gen 3, if something was off or like the group wasn't quite meshed right, I feel like that was just normal, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make some edit corrections here and there, but, you know, like...
But I feel like as far as the members went, like, it wasn't out of the ordinary for them, in like Gen 2, for there to be like some unpolished things in debuts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was normal. It's a debut. They'll get better over time.
Right.
That was pretty much the consensus.
Right.
The Gen 4 is not this way.
Right. Like the mixing, and whatever, it's like almost off the charts.
Perfectly in sync choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Gen 4 is machines. And they usually also have really stable vocals across the group as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen it with aespa. Like, that girl group is amazing. Like,
they mesh extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Even now. But, Tribe. So, I didn't have a ton of expectations, I would say, coming into this. Because, I mean, it's produced by Chungha Tiger. I don't know if he's worked on a group before that.
I feel like this might be his first group. I mean, we could be wrong.
Right.
So yeah, if we're wrong, tell us. Because we're stupid.
I knew they were gonna have some. I knew they were gonna have some good stuff from Ellie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of advice they can get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, as she said, she was working with a rap line. I knew the rap line was gonna be pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be as good as, you know, Ellie, right? Because she
Right.
has a ton more experience, but they would be at least decent.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this is insanely well produced.
Right. I mean, not only that, but you know, isn't the cousin of SNSD Yuri in this as group as well? If I remember right.
I think so. I think that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it was Tribe B. So, you know, there was already expectations because of that relation as well. So I don't think that, you know, there was a lot of room for it not to have a really good music video.
Yeah, true. But man, so one thing that I wanted to focus on that I talked about briefly was the rap line.
Mm-hmm.
Usually on debut, unless you have an actual like person that has been like in the underground scene before and rapped, usually, I mean, it's just generally okay rap. But I feel like the rappers here were actually really decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think they flowed well into each other.
Right.
And I think they were really solid in pronunciation and everything as well.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think I wish there would have been a little more of is a little more solid transitions between aspects. Like when they went into the bridge, I didn't feel like there was as solid of a transition as there could have been.
Right.
I feel like the transition was a little shaky and a little sudden.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you know, as Chungha Tiger learns the group's path, right, he'll produce better songs.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so I think that definitely will help will get better over time.
Yeah. I mean, again, like even though like there's small imperfections, you know, we said like there usually are very much mistakes in debut groups, you know, or imperfections, and I think seeing the difference between like how noticeable the imperfections are, because unless you're really paying attention, you wouldn't notice. Because for me, I myself, I didn't really notice that much. But then again, I am when it comes to like the music or the rap lines or whatever, I'm very much of a commoner when it comes to that. I want to say a word, but I can't think of the word, so common is like the closest
normie
word. Thanks.
You're a normie.
Thanks for calling me a normie.
Yeah, it's okay. You use commoner. What are you from, the Han Dynasty? What the heck? Now you actually have no excuse.
At least I didn't
I think
use...
it's warranted to save you from the Han Dynasty.
Look. At least I didn't say peasant, okay?
True. So try B. I think also, like I talked about before, that I think their vocals are very stable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have a good high like range,
Mm-hmm.
right? This song isn't low. It's not like it's a very low song.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need higher voices to be able to reach those kind of notes. And I think they do that pretty well. I think as far as vocal training, rap training, dance training, I think that this group is produced very well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of triangles.
Yeah.
There are a lot of triangles.
Yeah. I mean, visually, like, there's not much to say about this music video because everything visually is definitely related to the name,
Mm-hmm.
Like tribe, so it's a tribe-like music video, almost a post-apocalyptic music video where, you watch post-apocalyptic where people kind of form their own tribes to try to survive, or Amazonians where they show strength, or triangles with the tri in their name. So it's most of it very much relates to the name. And whatever, and showing how powerful they are, and definitely shows off a kind of a girl crushy concept.
It's definitely girl crushy. I would say also that they have a lot of charisma for a debut.
Oh yeah, very charismatic.
It doesn't seem like this is their first debut. It seems like this is more like a comeback.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that you really very much see with this newer Gen 4 groups. They're like, when it comes to girl crushy groups, they're very much more charismatic than they were in prior years for debut. Like, don't get me wrong, or don't get us wrong, because we had very charismatic groups in Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 1. I don't know why I went 2, 3, 1, but math, numbers, whatever. But Gen 4 is definitely debuting more charismatically than some of the previous generations.
I definitely agree. I think that is a big skill that it can be taught now to the generations that are debuting. So, and if it only gets more charismatic from here, man, it's gonna be insane,
right?
Given like another 2-3 years. Okay, you think it's about time to move on?
Yeah, to our last and final debut.
To the last and final. Is this a debut?
I believe so.
Okay.
So this is the group that we're talking about is Kingdom, with the music video Excalibur. And this was posted on GF Entertainment. I don't know much about this group at all, to be honest, or this entertainment company.
I'm not entirely sure about much. I haven't heard anything really about Kingdom. What I do know is that this MV is extremely high budget.
Oh yeah. It is a movie and a half.
It really is. And I wouldn't expect that coming from a debut for a small, I don't know if they're from a small company, but from a group I haven't heard before,
Right. Because
I mean, I don't think there was a lot of coverage on this group. I don't know if they're from like a music show or something, but
yeah, I really don't know. Like, I honestly did no research on this group. But so yeah, so this is their debut. Their debut. From the looks of it.
Yep, this is their debut. Yep.
And
man,
this is a crazy debut if with what it is. With the name Excalibur, it very much plays into the Arthurian concept.
Yeah, so the concept of this group is that they're all kings from different eras. And that's why that's why you see all of them are kind of dressed like that from different eras, right?
Right.
And you even have some of the members are named after kings from said eras. So some, if not all. But as far as GF Entertainment goes, right? Don't know very much about them, but what I do know is that they did make Jiju, right? Jiju debuted in 2017. So it's not their first group ever,
right?
But it is their first boy group.
Okay.
I do know their old name. Their old name, they were known as NOS Entertainment.
Okay.
But so they don't have from what I understand, they don't have a super high budget. So it's insane that they were actually able to produce this level of a song.
Right.
But yeah, so the visuals are amazing. The song, their singing ability is also insane. Like we just talked about with Tribe, right? Gen 4 hits actually.
The charisma, the confidence, it is very much represented in this music video. Especially with in the choreography, you see them incorporating sword fights into the choreography. And that kind of gave me a heart attack because obviously swords are sharp and dangerous.
Yeah, and even if they aren't sharp, right? Because they'll be talking about they use unsharpened swords. You can still hurt yourself with an unsharp sword.
Yeah.
There have been idols in the past that have used unsharpened swords and have hurt themselves.
I feel like you're I feel like you're talking about a certain.
I'm not throwing shit. If you know, you know.
Card.
So, all right. But yeah. So, I definitely think that this group has a ton of potential. I think that if they showcased even 10-20% of what they actually can do, they're gonna actually be really big.
They're
because
definitely gonna be kings of K-pop. Ha. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I'm leaving. No, I'm also, at the end, right? That kind of ending cinematic. I really liked that as well. I thought that kind of tied everything together. Talk about the kings of different eras and stuff. I don't know if that gave you a little bit of nostalgia, seeing as you're from that time period.
2 episodes. Oh, 2 times in 1 episode.
Well, I mean, it presented itself, so I took it. I mean, you lived through all these eras, so I mean.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
But man, I think definitely this MV is super aesthetically pleasing.
Very aesthetically pleasing.
Man, I do want to know what you thought about each member having their own kind of time period.
I kind of there were some parts that I very much were better represented or looked a little bit closer to their place of origin. But because most of it very much looks Arthurian. If you didn't realize about the whole different kingdom aspect, you could very much be like, why there are katanas in a European like setting? Why are there ninjas in this? Or why? So because in the end, you also see like all of the members end up with all the same sword to help represent them with Excalibur. Excalibur being an Arthurian European sword, bladed sword. So, you know, you'd think this is a mostly Western music video or Western inspired music video, but it's not. It's a different eras, different kingdoms from like Japan, France, China, Korea, that kind of stuff. So,
I also definitely think that when they hold up the Excalibur all together, I think that definitely shows how they are united. You know? So I think there's definitely a double meaning there that is really well represented.
Yeah. So, like, honestly, this is another great debut, you know? It's so well we said it with Tribe. Like, Gen 4 is so well polished. But there are a few things that, you know, could be improved on. But even with that, it's very minute corrections that can be fixed with their next comeback or even the next couple of comebacks. And you can see how polished, and if these groups aren't going to get the recognition that they deserve, you know, they deserve the recognition. And yeah.
Man, so I think this group, I'm definitely excited to see what comes from them next. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout from them because I think this concept is very interesting.
I mean, it's not.
I think their choreo is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like because what was it in the choreo? You can see them do the intensity, similar to what we said with Chungha with the water scene. It's very much used to help emphasize the whole like intensity of the entire music video. It helps pump you up, kind of.
Yeah. This song it would be like great for working out or anything like that. One thing I really liked about the music as well was the double delayed drop at the end. You know, in the final chorus, they delayed the drop the first time, then they took the drop out and then re-delayed it. And I think that was really genius on the music because it kind of added, the first drop kind of added that impact, and the second drop just really sent it home for the final bit, you know. I think it really raised the intensity of the song. Because I mean the song is already really intense. Right. It's really intense from the beginning. But yeah, I really enjoyed this song. Definitely have to go on my playlist.
Oh yeah. Definitely hope that this isn't a digital single.
No, I want this to be a physical album, please. I would like to buy this.
Right?
Sir. I don't know what it is, but
and considering what kinds of light sticks are coming out lately with what we've seen with Dreamcatcher, Tribe B and Kingdom, I'm looking forward to the light stick.
Tribe B is just gonna be a triangle,
a huge triangle. Kingdom is going to be a glow. The blade is going to be like light up, and it's a handle, and you just.
Oh man. Yes, please.
Imagine having to go through customs with that.
Oh no, it's like Cherry Bullet's light stick, where it was like a fake gun.
Yeah,
I remember so many people, even today, so many people complain about that going through customs with that.
But
all right,
music video of the week,
man. All right, let me figure this out here.
They were all so good.
They were all amazing. They were all actually amazing.
Ji-hoon missed a good episode.
Yeah, he did. All right, I have mine.
All right, go ahead.
I think for MV of the week, musically, I'm gonna choose Tribe.
Okay.
I think Tribe musically was really good. I have to give like the visual aesthetic to Kingdom though. Like, I think Kingdom knocked it out of the park with the production.
Right.
So I think my actual winner is going to be Kingdom.
Okay.
Because I think between the music and the production and storytelling and everything, they really killed it.
Right. And I couldn't agree more. That they've got an awesome debut. It was, and I've got to give it to them. They've got an amazing debut. If I could split between debut, like a debut choice, Kingdom, but Tribe is so close to a second because we've had 20 something on our list. But these two was definitely picks out of the rest. But I want to give it to GOT7 with how emotional and beautiful it was. Like the simplicity, the simplicity of the music video itself just gave a bigger like message to me. And it's a closed and an ending and a beginning music video. And so for me, I gotta give it to GOT7. You know,
definitely.
Yeah,
well
Kang Daniel and Chungha, definitely amazing releases as well. Like out of the 20 music videos that we had to pick from, and even others that we are probably haven't even heard that we released this week. You know, just
like everything we talked about today is actually insane. You have to go listen to all of it. Make sure.
Oh yeah,
like absolutely. But
yeah,
you wanna move it on to a quick shot?
Yeah. So
quick shots with Aura.
Yeah, we only have one quick shot. Having to go back with GOT7. GOT7's newest music video or song has topped all over the world on iTunes as number 1, including the US. So, congrats to them. This is honestly, Encore honestly deserves that spot, and it was such an amazing song. I don't know what else to say. We've talked I don't know how long about the song, and like it was even my pick, so I don't know what else I could say that can describe how great it was. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. This has been Out of State Nation. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon if you want to know when we upload in the future. Our socials and the links to all the music videos will be in the description down below. Thank you as well to our Patreon subscribers. We appreciate you so much. You mean the world to us, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.